Hi there! So you see this lady, she's thinking, I want to write, I have my beautiful typewriter, but what will I write? Well, I have come up with a little system for myself to be creative with my writing and be inspired in a matter of a few minutes, and I want to share that with you. So welcome, I'm Maureen. Let's first take her to the side, and this little sweetie, she can remain here at my side, being my creative companion for today. And here you see 3 little piles of cards that I have made with prompts. And with the 3 piles, I'm making 1 prompt, and that will give me the inspiration to come up with a story. And let's see where it will take us today. So we start with this pile here. I've even marked them with an A on the back, so that if I would mix them up, you know, have them drop on the floor or something, I can separate them again in their individual respective piles. And let's give them a shake. And then, yeah, I'm gonna choose this one, and I'm gonna place those here. Let's see. It says de woestijn van, which means the desert of. So this is my first part of the 3 parts. Here's the part B, as you can see. So let's give those a shake as well. I like the tangible effect of having these cards, of having them in my hands, of giving them a mix like this. I sometimes put them in a little beautiful bowl and pull one out. Oh, this one wants to come out, so let's choose that one. It says tijdloze, which by the way is Dutch, which is my mother language. And tijdloze means timeless. So we have the desert of timeless. And now comes part C. So yeah, as I was saying, I like this tangible thing that I can touch it, and I love having cards. I have many kinds of cards that have to do with writing, and I like to shuffle them. Wow, that was not a good shuffle. I'm not gonna pick that one. I'm just gonna put it back. I'm gonna say to myself, shuffle. My goodness. Shuffle once more, and then pick the card. This one sticks out. We're gonna choose this one. Oh, let's see. Oh, it says verhalen, which means stories. Wow. So let's see. We have the desert of timeless stories, which in itself is beautiful. I mean, a lot of things come to mind right away. Now I want to show you one last pile of prompts, which is this one. These are larger because it has a sentence on them. And I'm gonna quickly shuffle those 2 and pick one out. And what this does is it gives me another prompt or a hint. It says verwerk tast in je verhaal, which is to include the sense of touch in your story. So that means that you can use textures, or that you touch something, and that you describe, that you make your story come to life more by taking your reader into the world, by describing and showing them which textures there are. Now in a desert there are of course interesting textures, but it would be also very creative and interesting to see if a story has a texture. So this all sparks the creativity. And now I think I want one last thing, and this will make it a little bit more challenging for me. Just another pile of these small prompt cards. And what I do with this one is that it has a word on it as well. Words that I like, words that I love, words that have a special meaning or a nice ring to it. I love collecting words. This one says vrijheid, which means freedom. So what this does, and I of course have the freedom of using it or not, but what I do with this is that I sort of challenge myself, ask myself to do something with the Desert of Timeless Stories, to have something in it that has to do with the texture, and then if I can, to use the word or the concept of freedom in this whole story. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, things start to bubble. I'm thinking about, okay, this is a desert of timeless stories. Who would be the one to be called to go to this desert? Or who is it that maybe is lost in this desert, and why? Why are they searching after a story, or aren't they? Are they just by coincidence in this desert? And is there a meeting with a being, with a person, with an animal that will bring them to the story that they need to hear, or that this being wants to share? Or, you know, you see, I just let my imagination flow. I'm not constraining myself, I'm not putting stress on myself, and then I just go with it. I do the association, I let it run freely, and that is how, for me, the story comes to life. And, you know, thinking about this story, what if there's somebody who indeed has gotten lost in this desert? They are on a travel, maybe they are a merchant, and they weren't supposed to go through this desert, but they did. They found themselves in this desert. And then they meet someone, maybe a magical being, because, you know, I love stories that are fantasy inspired, that have magic, that have things that can't be done in this real world that we live in. So what if this merchant traveling through the desert, maybe he or she or they are a little bit lost, and they meet this magical being. They invite them into their little oasis in this desert, and they offer to tell them a story, a timeless story. And what if that story is about freedom? What if this merchant that is traveling through this desert is indeed desperately in need of freedom, of feeling free in their life? So yeah, this is how this goes. And I find it so fascinating that every time I pick up my prompt cards and every time I flip through them and I put this prompt in front of me, that something emerges just by letting my imagination go wild. I let it go freely, because that's the real point of this all. I don't put pressure on myself. I do this almost every day, like 5 or 6 days in the week. I sit down at my desk and I come up with something. Now these prompts can be, they can lead to a little bit bigger stories, of course, because, you know, you have 1, 2, 3 ingredients, which by their nature invite me into a sort of a bigger story. But that's fine. Sometimes I only take one prompt with one word. But it doesn't matter. The thing is, I love sitting down here at my desk. I love putting down the beautiful words, the beautiful cards. They are all in the colors that I love because this inspires me. If I use colors and textures and words that I don't really like, then that sort of blocks or interferes with my creativity. And my aim is to be creative every day, and being creative for me has to do with coming up with a story. Now you might think, what do you do with this story? Do you really write it down? Do you take time to develop it, to create this character, to create that magical being that that I just talked about? Well, yes and no. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. To me, the thing that I love to do is to have the story bubble up, to have this creativity flowing, and that sort of frees up my mind, my soul. I feel energy from this, and this gives me the energy to come into my day and do the things that need to be done, because I have done something that energizes me. So yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Now I want to show you this journal that I made, and it's a little bit difficult because it's pretty big. I'm going to try to get it in frame. See, this is the journal, and what I do is I collect my story bits, my snippets in here. You see, it started out as a 100-day project. I'm actually at like day 60 or something, and it's so wonderful to do this. And you see, I collect my things, my story snippets. Sometimes I do develop the things. I think about the people that are in the story and the surroundings. I also love to make images that go with the story. Sometimes I'll do it in reverse. I'll start with the image and then think about what story goes with the image. So yeah, see? This is a whole journal filled up with every kind of story and story prompt that I have created these last 100 days. And this in itself makes me so happy. I feel so much joy just flicking through this journal. And let me show you, like this page here. Here I had a similar prompt with these three-part cards. It says the mountains of echoing winter. And when I had this prompt, I went and made this illustration, which I do with Midjourney. And what it did for me, because I had this and I wanted to visualize these mountains, and I was thinking about, well, what is it why is it echoing? And how do echoing and winter, well, how do they combine? I mean, mountains and winter, well, yeah, it can be a wintry scene, but what about why does the winter echo, or what is it that is echoing in these mountains? So what I was imagining is that the echoes are of the magic that flow through the valley of these mountains, and the magic of the winter is the echo of a people that were living here a very long time ago. And that, for me, is enough. I love this. And sometimes when I have a story snippet, if you will, like this, later on I will have something and I'm like, yeah, but this is what I wrote about a few days ago, and then I'll go back and pick it up and then put it into a larger story. And that is what makes it so fascinating and yeah, energizing for me. And whereas sometimes I have an illustration and a prompt, sometimes I only come up with a word, you know, a word like from this pile and I make just one sentence. That is also enough. I love to play with words, and I love the emotion or the image that they evoke, and that can be enough for me. So yeah, there you have it. Yesterday I made a video where I also made a prompt with this, and believe it or not, I had a desert too. So I have these desert images. Let me see if you are still in frame. Yeah, you are. So maybe I will take these same images of the desert, and maybe tomorrow, the day after, in a week, I will have these images, and then I don't have the desert of elusive hope, which was my thing yesterday with the word wisdom. And then now I have this desert of timeless stories. And who knows, maybe it's the same desert, I don't know. Maybe it's the same being that lives there. Maybe this timeless story links up with the elusive hope. I don't know. It can be, it can't be. It's all fine. As I say, it's about the imagination, about the bubbly feeling of being creative. And that is what I want to share with you. So, for now, I'm gonna stop rambling. I am very happy that you are here. I hope you have enjoyed it, and that maybe even for you, this gets your creative juices flowing. And if not, that's perfectly fine. If it just brings you these 10 minutes of joy, that is enough for me. And that is what I wish for you. And if you do find yourself inspired in whichever way that you are creative, I mean, you can make a painting, a drawing, you can make an art journal page about it. You can do whatever you like. If that is what comes from this video, that would make me super happy. So yeah, if you would want to, I would very much appreciate it if you give this video a like, a thumbs up. And if you do want to stay in touch with me, I intend to make more videos like this. You can subscribe by the button below. So yeah, for now, this is it for today. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Love you guys.